All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to give a special thanks to Matthew John Bell. Thanks a lot, my man, for the super thanks. In this video here, talking about LeBron James and all his defense that the media tries to cover up for. And man, they went nuts about that alleged Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. Still complaining about Marc Gasol being second team all defense, but one Defensive Player of the Year, all this stuff. So you get the proper context and you know exactly what kind of idiocy we're dealing with. Listen to these guys.
The only major award he didn't win was Defensive Player of the Year, which he finished second in voting for behind Marc Gasol. And what's crazy is the fact that Marc Gasol didn't even make first team all-defense. He made the second team. And yet somehow he was the best Defensive Player of the Year? Throughout NBA history, nobody could guard 1 through 5 as successfully as LeBron did in 2013. Pippen was a versatile defender, but he was only 220 pounds and couldn't guard centers. Rodman could guard centers, but he never switched onto point guards like LeBron. Draymond Green's defensive versatility could be compared to James. But Draymond isn't as athletic or as big as LeBron. While there were some great candidates to win the Defensive Player of the Year in 2013, nobody did more different things defensively than LeBron, and that's why he deserved to win the award.
And when we're just comparing the two players, LeBron averages more blocks, steals than Jordan, is the more versatile defender, can guard all 5 positions, and 6 points away, like voting points, from winning Defensive Player of the Year.
9-time all-defensive first team. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so in other words, it was LeBron on both sides of the ball. Was he that dominant?
Oh, he was the better. But give me this.
Okay.
You know good and well LeBron James should have 1 Defensive Player of the Year. How does Marc Gasol, who's a second-team all-defensive player, be Defensive Player of the Year?
I agree with that. But the flip side to it is that as we watched LeBron James, even with his greatness at one point in time as a defensive player, we never looked at him and said, oh my God, that's that dude defensively.
So these guys are going to cover up for LeBron. They were covering for LeBron. His lack of defensive effort. What are you talking about? He's been great defensively. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, no, he shouldn't have. I did a video not long ago, showed he was closer to the pack than he was to Marc Gasol in the voting. He was not close. That's just not true. And it's 2 separate entities that do the voting. Back then, anyway, all defense, media, Defensive Player of the Year, coaches, 2 separate entities. Is this unprecedented that a player is Defensive Player of the Year, but was not first team all defense? So only LeBron got shafted, if you want to call it that. No, that's not at all true. You go back through the years. The 4th Defensive Player of the Year in existence, 1986. Alvin Robertson won it. He wasn't first team all defense. Did Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright run a whole media campaign talking about how Sidney Moncrief got shafted because he had the most all defensive votes? It's 2 separate entities. The coaches just didn't see it like the media did. The media favored LeBron James, period. That's what it is. How about 1995? Dikembe Mutombo won Defensive Player of the Year. He was not first team all defense. It was David Robinson in his stead at center. Not unprecedented. The year right before this controversial one, in 2012, Tyson Chandler won Defensive Player of the Year. He was second team all defense. That's 3 separate times it happened. And then in 2013, yes, Marc Gasol was second team all defense and won Defensive Player of the Year. It is not unprecedented. Now, though, they took it away from the code. Now the media is voting on all of it, apparently. So now you won't have that problem anymore. It's going to be the same group of people playing favorites instead of having another group that votes actually on how it is, which is more accurate in my mind. Coaches over the media all day long. Now listen to Nick Wright and Antoine Walker talking about this exchange right here, where Nick Wright, again, sticking up for old LeBron, making every excuse in the book of why he can't defend for a whole game. Here you go.
I understand from an ego standpoint, it's tough for somebody to tell you that you're not the same defender. He was a great defensive player as far as chasing down people for block shots, getting in the passing lanes. I disagree with a lot of people. I don't think he was a great on the ball defender, but I thought he was great as far as energy and effort that he put on the defensive end, getting steals and block shots.
And knowing where to be.
Yeah. I think now what you're seeing is he doesn't help and rotate the way he used to.
Correct.
And he has to help and rotate when you don't have a dominant center that can protect the basket. But he's not the same defender.
Meaning, it's not about rotations or help or anything like that. It's my guy trying to take me one-on-one. I'm down for that challenge because even to your point, if he was never the best in the league at that, if you're going to play 40 minutes a night and you're going to be an offense unto yourself, you're going to have to pick times to rest on the court. If LeBron were in the system of, hey, you're going to play 28 minutes a night, then this level of defensive effort would be indefensible. When he has to be the offense unto himself. You want to play 39 minutes a game. You want him to generate everything on offense. It's one of the reasons why putting Rondo in the starting lineup was good and why he was a little better defensively that game because Rondo was initiating some things. Well, there's some time you're going to have to take some plays off. But anyone that thinks he's going to get back to 2013 when he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, that will never happen again, and it's not really supposed to happen.
He's got to take some plays off. Well, if that's true, fine. But what does that say about the guys that did it? That's all I'm saying. Why do they not get extra special love? And don't give me about that, oh, he's the de facto running the offense. So is Michael Jordan. Look at all the scoring he had to do to win championships. I don't want to hear it. He was still first team all defense up to 35 years old. LeBron was done with all defense in his 20s with the media in his back pocket. Don't want to hear it. These guys are just a joke. And I know, oh, don't listen to those guys. They got no credibility. But the people that believe this stuff, the brainwashed robot sheep that actually believe this stuff and think what he's saying makes sense, that's the issue I have with it, is the fans, the commenters. But I put together here something that I think you're going to find interesting. LeBron James, this great defender, right? And maybe when he was on Miami, he was a really good defender. Okay, that short little window. But that does not make you an all-time great defender. It just doesn't. They think that Defensive Player of the Year, that he was not 6 votes away like Nick Wright says. He was a lot more than that. That this somehow validates LeBron as some great defender. And without it, oh yeah, well he got shorted, blah, 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 blah. Well, Michael Jordan should have won in 87 then, because his numbers were pretty much just as good as in 88. And you can say whatever you want about, oh, they inflated the numbers. I also heard they deflated the numbers on the road also. There's some questionable steals and blocks, assists, rebounds would go to other players too. They were playing games like that, and they still do. They give LeBron all kinds of assists that he shouldn't have gotten. But I put together all the players in NBA history who had at least 6 all-defensive teams, doesn't matter first or second, of all time. And I looked at how many of those did you get versus how many seasons did you play. And I did 60-game seasons because that just seems reasonable that somebody could gain a vote. Now, there were situations where players got voted into all-league playing less than that. So then I just counted it. One year, LeBron James played 45 games, and he got voted in All-NBA? What a joke. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. The media favoritism, and still the media complains it's not good enough. Never seen anything like it. But when you break it down like I am right here, it is eye-opening. Here's all the players that made 6 or more all defenses, first or second, versus how many seasons they played. Let's look at the percentage. This goes right to defense longevity. Don't tell me about, oh, he has to take plays off. Whatever. Then that gives the other guys who didn't take plays off should get extra credit then. Period. Tim Duncan, 15 all defenses in 18 seasons played of 60-plus games. 83.33% of the time he was making all defense. He had 8 first team. So that's a very high percentage. Kobe Bryant made 12 all defensive teams, 9 first, 15 60-game seasons. That's 80% of the time he was making all defense. Now, if a guy didn't start like Kobe didn't, I didn't count it because he just didn't have the minutes to qualify. Kevin Garnett, 12-time made all defense. Out of 16 seasons, 75% of the time. The asterisk by his name indicates how many defensive players of the year he won, so he got one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 11 all defenses in 20 seasons, 55%. Bobby Jones, 11 all defenses, including the ABA, 10 first team. That's the most ever, including the ABA. He only had 2 ABAs and 8 NBA, equaling 10. 11 total. Out of 14 years, 71.42%. Gary Payton, 9 times all first team. Out of 15 seasons, that's 60%. Michael Jordan, 9 times, just like Gary Payton, all first team. Out of 12 seasons, 75%. 2002, I took out for Jordan, but even if you want to include it in there, it'd be 9 for 13, which would come to 69.23%. Still well over 50% of the time. Draymond Green, 9 times, 5 first team, 10 seasons of 60 games or more. That's actually 90%. That's really good. Dennis Johnson, 9-time all defense, 6 first team out of 13. That's 69.23%. Chris Paul, 9-time all defense, 7 were first out of 16 seasons, 56.25. Olajuwon, 9 all defenses, 5 were first. He had 2 defensive players of the year. That's out of 13 60-game seasons, 69.23%. Jason Kidd, also 9, 4 first team out of 16, 56.25%. Bruce Bowen, 8, 5 first team out of 8 seasons, 100%. Michael Cooper had 8 out of 10 for 80%. Rudy Gobert, 8 out of 11 for 72.72%. John Havlicek, 8 out of 10, 80%. Havlicek would have had more had there been an all-defense back in the 60s, but 80% is excellent. Dennis Rodman's got 8. He's got 10 seasons of 60 games or more. He's at 80%. David Robinson, 8 out of 13 for 61.53%. Norm Van Leer, 8 out of 9, 88.8%. Walt Frazier, 7 out of 8. Kawhi Leonard, 7 out of 8. Both those guys are 87.5%. Don Buse, 6 out of 7, 85.71%. Mookie Blaylock, 6 out of 10, 60%. Dave DeBusschere, 6 for 6. And Tony Allen, 6 for 6. Both 100%. DeBusschere also, if they had it in the 60s, would have had many more. Drew Holiday, 6 for 11. That's 54.54%. Kevin McHale, 6 out of 10, 60%. Alvin Robertson, 6 out of 8, 75%. Jerry Sloan, 6 out of 8, 75%. Ben Wallace, 6 out of 10, 60%. And then you got the guy highlighted, the lowest number on this list, 27.27%. LeBron James, 6 out of 22 seasons, he made all defensive team. I'm sorry, 27.27% is not an elite defender all time. It's not. You could say whatever you want about, oh, well, he got older, he had to pick his spots, he had to rest on defense. Exactly. So all those guys that didn't rest on defense, who had a shorter career, that should be more credit than a guy who sleptwalked through a decade worth of basketball, didn't make an all-defensive team, obviously not engaged on defense. He's a traffic cone, a stop sign, a statue, whatever you want to call it. He'll just do that swipe, him and Luka Doncic, swipe at the defender as they come by. It's a joke. Anybody who defends them is a joke. And that's all I got to say about that. You know, this one really fired me up. I'm sick of these guys acting like LeBron James is anywhere near the best defenders of all time. He's not in the top 30. I mean, it's just crazy. He keeps playing on one side of the ball. Fine. Don't call him an elite defender. He had this little window before the age of 30. He went his first 5 seasons, no all defenses. He's went his last 11 seasons, no all defenses. He had a little window of 6 years where he got his MVPs, where he got half his championships, and he got his all defenses in. That window. That's what his prime is. But outside his prime, no, he was not an elite defender, and even the media saw that. What can you say? His steal and block numbers, these guys talking about, oh, yeah, his steals and blocks are better than Jordan or just as good as Jordan. Like, what are you talking about? The career highs of either one, Jordan's higher. The average, career-wise, Jordan's is higher per game. What are you talking about? Same with blocks. Jordan had like 1.6 blocks one year. I think LeBron had what? 1.0 one year, and that's his career high? I don't want to hear it. LeBron James is nowhere close to an elite defender. He's certainly not on Michael Jordan's level. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content. And that's it. Until next time.